Hello and welcome to what the title says above. It's David Bowie, or as we used to call him when we were growing up. Well, I did. David Bowie. I don't know where that came from. It was probably something from Smash Hits. Got a lot of stuff from Smash Hits, especially song lyrics. That was pretty good. Sometimes they weren't always correct though. So I thought I would start. Well, how else could you start a David Bowie thing from the 80s with this? Dancing in the street. It happened and we let it happen, I think is how the quote goes. If I got it wrong, I'll put it down there. I remember when I first saw this, it was kind of like, oh my goodness me, those guys are getting rather close, aren't they? And there's that kind of embarrassing segment in the video there where Jagger sees Bowie doing that thing from the clip, and Jagger sort of looks over and, oh, I better do this too. I think a lot of people got really, really sick of it, but I didn't. And I've got the 12-inch version, and it's even longer, much to a lot of people's chagrin, but it's even longer and even has a guitar solo. I'd probably go, oh, guitar solo, is that as bad as the rest of it? Actually, if you want to see a really cringy version of it, check out the Prince's Trust. It might not be on YouTube, but there's they kind of did a surprise appearance at the Prince's Trust concert in about 1986, I reckon. And it was so under rehearsed, and you can hear Jagger sort of like telling which key to just like, okay, up, which means that he wants the key to go up. As we all do, otherwise we never get in, do we? Next one. Oh, it's stuck. Hang on a second, we'll just do an edit here. There we go, that was nice, wasn't it? And next up is Absolute Beginners. And this is another one where the 12-inch was kind of like a full version, and this one just faded out. Couldn't really sort of work that one out. And it's from the movie Absolute Beginners. Funny that. I was thinking Labyrinth, but that was something else. I always quite liked it. I always found it to be quite an atmospheric sort of song, but Bowie was very good at that. And speaking of movie soundtracks, this, When the Wind Blows, as opposed to, well, you've got a karaoke version, it's the instrumental on the other side. As opposed to Absolute Beginners, I really found this boring. Clip was nice, but my understanding is that it's after a nuclear war, I think. And that's the idea, is when the wind blows, the bomb's gone off, and it's after a nuclear war. Oh, which probably bears weight with the thing there. And next up in the trilogy of soundtracks, we've got this, Down in the Underground. And there is a picture disc to this, which I won't haul out, but I'm just wondering if he got the inspiration for his hair there from Olivia Newton-John toughening up. Sorry, I couldn't resist that one. This one I really did quite like, showing off David's acting skills, and we've got a bit of George Lucas and Jim Henson in there. And there was a 12-inch to this as well. And this was released only in Australia, I think. I got this from a record fair when people would get rid of their whole collections at record fairs and you could buy records next to Nick's. It was great. Bang Bang. And it's an Iggy Pop number. He went from being bored to Bang Bang. Now we've got David in his kind of 80s sort of, kind of not really knowing what he wanted to be sort of phase almost. No, saw somewhere that he kind of, I won't say regretted it, but sort of felt that it was a bit of a low musically or something like that. But I actually quite liked it. Day In, Day Out, with obviously a hoarder's paradise there. But I actually, well, yeah, he did the whole 80s hair thing. Didn't we all? But yeah, gotta find her money, honey, to try and pay her rent. That's the kind of protection everybody's talking about, or everyone's talking about. It's the sort of, it's almost like a housewife protest song, I think, if memory serves. I think that was the idea. It's like day in, day out. It's like doing the same thing over and over. Now, this is something that looks like it would be a bit sore on the back, but I think there's a bit of photographic trickery happening here. Time Will Crawl. I don't think... Oh, I can sort of do it, but then the idea is that I'll probably knock that blasted thing off and probably a bear as well. And the other problem is I've got to get out of this darn position too. I don't want to mess up my hair anymore. There we go. Oh my god, it's one step away from being early 80s punk now, isn't it? Alright. Oh, and excuse me while I just part the cushions. Oh, yeah. Anyway, that looks like they would give you a nasty crick in the neck. There was 3 singles taken off of this album, and single version usually means like it's a remix or an edited for radio type thing. Never been a huge fan of songs like that, because if you know the album versions, it's a little bit, the edit is extremely obvious. Oh gosh, Duran Duran's a good example of that. But I must admit, I didn't mind this period of it. Maybe I think he was trying to be 80s trashy or something. I don't know. It seemed to be like a direction that didn't really quite work for him. And like I said earlier, he kind of admitted that himself in some way, shape or form. And the other thing that seemed to happen in the late 80s, early 90s was to do this remix thing. And to plug the Changes Bowie greatest hits thing, we've got Fame. Yeah, sorry, I couldn't resist that. So it's a bit of a then and now. And a lot of those remixes, the Boney M ones, it's kind of like, play them side by side, and it's like, the drum might be over here instead of over here. It's very little difference with some of those remixes. To be honest, I didn't really like it, but I'm not a huge fan of those sort of updated remixes and stuff like that. It almost feels like it's an excuse to release a single and hope the fans will go, ooh, I'll buy that. And lucky last, I snaffled this from the UK. No, it makes it sound like I stole it, doesn't it? Snaffled this from the UK, and it's Black Tie, White Noise. No, I haven't done anything to the single. The price was always there. But it kind of looks like I've been nasty to the picture sleeves. Like, what has he done? Has he splattered bleach all over it or something? But, there he is with his obligatory cigarette too. But no, that's how it came. That's how it came. He obviously thought the splattered bleach look was a good way to go. But this was a little bit of a better thing. I actually really did quite like this. And by this stage, records, 7-inch singles, they just weren't released in Australia anymore, but they were in the UK sort of fairly regularly up until 93, 94, I think. But that's the last of the 7-inch singles. Anyway, that's it for David Bowie, or something like that. I saw his exhibition in Melbourne, and it was interesting. I don't know why they felt the need to show us his cocaine spoon from 1970s, but hey, you know, the deep cut fan would like those sorts of things. But I'm looking at this like, oh, okay. Is it the sort of the metal it was made from, perhaps? Especially, they at that time too. I think this was a few years ago, and that was when they had the special edition picture discs as well. And I got one of them, but boy, they were expensive. And I was a bit, I'll get one. If I get the whole lot, it would have set me back something like about $400 or something like that. I mean, I'm interstate. That's up there with 3 nights for the place I'd be staying. A whole bunch of David Bowie picture discs or a few extra nights in Melbourne. Well, well, if I had the money, I'd get why not both? Anyway, on that note, I'm going to toddle off. I'll go back into the early 80s and the 70s. You know, notice how I like going all over the place with some of these. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Please do the likes and subscribes and all of that kind of thing. Thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate the fact that you're doing that for me. I don't know what to say, and I kind of sound like I'm being a little bit condescending in the process. That's not the case at all. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Please take care of yourself, and hopefully I shall see you in the next one. Ciao! Which way do I go? If I do that, I hit the both ends.